Hey, welcome to the patch.
Hello.
This time brought to you by MeUndies, Crunchyroll, and Pizza Hut.
So many
sponsors, and Pizza Hut did us one better and actually got us some cheesy bites. Yeah. Now with choice of 7 crust flavors
We've got
like
shots
ranch.
on top of our cheesy bites.
Well, I mean, they go together, right?
Take a shot of cheesy bites.
Ranch or Smokehouse Barbecue. Get a one topping now for $11.99 at pizzahut.com. Thanks again to our friends at Pizza Hut for sponsoring this podcast and for this delicious cheesy bite.
I feel a little bit bad about this.
Where's
one.
the rest of the cheesy bite?
Okay, wait. It's funny that you should
For
ask
all of you guys
because
who will be attending RTX, hold on, this weekend, please stop by our hashtag RetroBites Arcade powered by Pizza Hut to compete in our hashtag RetroBites Arcade Gaming Tournament. Remember, check out the Cheesy Bites Pizza at pizzahut.com and get a one topping for $11.99. I promise usually it comes as a whole pizza.
we'll talk about what happened to the pizza because it's funny that Ryan indignantly asked what happened
Pretends
to
he
the
doesn't know
pizza?
what happened to the
He
pizza.
was the one who ate the pizza. Oh, I spit everywhere.
All right, look.
Sorry.
Usually, we're at 4 o'clock, and so the other RT podcast is always getting pizza. We never got pizza, and so they were going to sponsor this time. I was like, hey, we should, I haven't tried the cheesy bites. I feel like we should have one so that we can test, and so I can say nice things about them. And so we got one, but as it turns out, it was a show pony that we're supposed to display to the audience as a whole pretty pizza.
Which
We
we didn't
ruined it.
know, and
Right.
I don't lay this all on me. I'm not the only one who ate of
You
the
were the
cheesy
first
bites.
one who ate the cheesy bites.
you first partaketh of the cheesy bites.
Right.
I
He
did
who
shove
first
a butt.
After that,
partaketh
we partaketh.
shall taketh the blame, and thou art you.
They're
Ryan.
good. They're pretty good.
So
I
if you
like
can't.
them a
This
lot.
is the audio podcast. Part of the pizza's missing.
Thou art you.
Thou art you.
No shame. I ate the cheesy bites and they were good.
Hashtag the patch.
Also, I just want to point out that Muriel was like, if Ryan jumped off a cliff, would you do it too? And then she looked at me, she's like, not you. You would have already done
Well,
it.
that's because she said if Ryan and Meg jumped off, and you were like, yes.
Yeah, jumping off the cliff.
I'm pretty sure I said yes to.
Yeah,
Well, there
absolutely.
you go. We're all cheesy biting on the way
You can
down.
survive a long fall if you land on another body, right?
That's
We're
true.
already at the bottom waiting for you,
The
buddy.
trick is not to
exactly.
go alone.
Right.
Oh,
Or first.
It's dangerous. Take this.
those are good.
Cheesy bites. That should be their
These are the garlic
slogan.
ones.
So, sorry about that, audio listeners.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go. This is what it sounds like to be good. We got a lot. We got a lot of actual news today, which is cool
Yeah.
because it's been
the
kind of a
Gamescom
while.
started,
Yeah.
which is nice.
And then they talked about a bunch of things.
Yeah, they said F you to E3 and just went for Gamescom.
So Xbox did. PlayStation's super weird. They skipped Gamescom.
Like,
PlayStation
altogether?
skipped Gamescom. They didn't do a press conference. They're not doing live streams. They're saving it all for Paris Games Week in October. But the reason that confuses me because October, the holiday game season has already started. That's when everything is coming out. And aren't we still kind of waiting to see what their holiday replacement is for Uncharted? Because that slipped and it was going to be the tentpole.
Well,
Oh, I was going to say, are they not going to Tokyo? They always do huge things at Tokyo Game Show.
I'm sure they'll be there, but they basically, when they said they weren't doing a big thing at Gamescom, they said they'd be at Paris instead.
That's so weird. Well, maybe because Tokyo Game Show actually, the news that comes out of that doesn't really travel beyond Japan much. It's
They're-
mostly Japanese exclusive consoles, Japanese exclusive games.
do you think that's still
Like,
true? I mean,
we
I feel
gotta-
like that kind of spreads more nowadays.
It's like a cake dancing music game.
Well, first of all, they had the booby feeling game at TGS last year. Which
Yeah.
bring that around, please. Bring that to
was
E3.
I
that
think
the
Western
Oculus one?
audiences
Yeah.
are ready.
I think we are ready.
Yeah.
And
We're ready to feel those boobs.
but the
We
thing
got
that-
a lot of practice on the real thing.
Absolutely. The thing that gets me though is that it really doesn't it really doesn't spread beyond Japan because they keep doing limited edition console. Every TGS is like, here's 6 limited edition consoles that you can only get in Japan, and they never come to the US.
You know who's been getting better about that is Nintendo's getting better about that with 3DS, or they were. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the new 3DS XL stuff. But they at least got better about that towards the end of the 3DS XL, where finally the special editions were coming out in the US. But the special editions they've got of some of the other consoles, like they announced the Metal Gear Solid a special PS4. That was like the first special PS4 because they announced it in like March or whatever. It was nothing. It was a black PS4 with a basically a faceplate with a Fox emblem on it. It wasn't crazy in any sense of the word.
It
But it's
wasn't
custom,
very
though.
unique.
I mean, they usually don't change them up that much. I mean, even
Yeah, sometimes though they're like all red, which was cool.
Yeah,
like,
those ones are great.
Those are cool.
Like the really extreme ones, or you get like the cool retro, the super retro one like you've got.
Yeah.
Or like the Halo one that Xbox One just announced is really cool. It's really nice looking.
Actually, that was what I was about to mention. It's like, well, okay, it's a slightly different color, but it's not really. The one thing I was really surprised to see with that one is that it's not coming with an Elite controller. That's what I would have expected to see from a limited edition Xbox One at this point.
Yeah, although I can see it being difficult to. It's going to be available standalone as a controller as well, but is that going to be just a normal controller as well? And does it come out before the Elite controller itself comes out?
Now that I didn't actually check, so that could be the issue.
Let me
but
look that up.
Also, the Elite controllers are going to be kind of expensive, so it
They're
would probably,
they're
150
super
bucks,
expensive.
right?
I think so. Or is
150.
it, yeah, 150 something. It's up there. So it may have bumped the price of the console, but I mean, when you're buying a limited edition console, aren't you kind of going for something that's unique and elite and special? And I've never actually plonked down the money to get one of them, but you feel like you want something more than just, hey, that's a cool paint job.
Yeah, so the Elite controller comes out on October 31st, and the Halo.
I mean, it's
don't look at me.
Microsoft though. Like they could have
Don't
put
look
that
at me,
together.
Cameron. Don't judge me.
I mean, Microsoft, I'm sure, could have lumped that in if they wanted to. Like they could have hurried that, get some of the first production line ones off to go into that.
The first 360 I ever had was that really awesome Master Chief one. It was
That was pretty cool.
awesome. They need to do another one like that. I want my foil disc drive, the foily orange disc drive. Oh, I love that.
Did that one that had custom sounds too, didn't it? Or am I misremembering? There was definitely a
R2D2
The
was the
R2D2
first
one
one
I'm
that
thinking
had
about.
custom
That
sounds.
one-
That one was awesome.
The R2D2 console remains, as far as I'm concerned, the best, like, special edition 360.
See, that's
I will
what
totally
I want.
agree.
Between
Totally
the
agree.
old school ones and then the Slim, it was by far the best.
Modify. Give me some custom colors, maybe some custom lights, maybe change the form a little bit instead of just that. All right, it's a Xbox, it's a PS4 that's slightly different color.
Okay, so this does come out. This does come out before the controller releases.
Okay.
You're right. They probably could have hurried it, but it's not far off. The Xbox One comes out on October 20th, and the Elite console comes out on the 31st. So they're still really close. But again, that's considered holiday season. That's when you start putting out your crazy holiday awesome stuff, and we're just gonna be finding out what PlayStation's plans are. I want to know.
I don't know. I suspect what you'll see that is actually a lot more 2016 stuff.
Are they just playing mind games with me, or are they playing hard to get? Because now I just want to know. I just want to follow them everywhere and be like, "What are you doing?"
It's working.
What are you doing?
Look, they got
This
you.
is
You're
it.
on the hook now. No matter what they tell you, they're like, they told me something. Buy it.
It's weird. I had a theory though that they're skipping Gamescom because they don't really need to be there. The PS4 is outselling 3-1 in Europe. PlayStation's always been dominant with consumers in Europe. It's always sold better than Xbox. So they might just be like, it costs a lot of money to go to these shows. We don't need to. We'll do Paris instead, and it'll all be fine. But then again, there are 330 some odd thousand people at Gamescom, or there were last year. It's probably even bigger this year. So let's say 350,000 at least.
There's got to be a fire marshal cutoff there.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, at that point, with the way that shows go nowadays anyway, does the attendance on the floor even matter? I mean, we all saw the trailers the day of or the day after.
That's very true. Are you really reaching a unique audience there, or an
Yeah.
audience that is actually going to make a difference? We actually talked in your story about Gamescom about how E3 is so dominant, even though it's so much smaller, because those are people who are actually tastemakers, going in, who are going to be reporting this, who are going to be sharing it with an audience, as opposed to people who only are sharing with their friends group.
But one of the benefits to something that is consumer driven, I think, is that if you get that's the 350,000 most engaged gamers, like most passionate gamers in the continent. They've traveled from all over the place. Cologne's not a big city. It's not like the people who go to it are local. Everyone's traveled in. They've made a pilgrimage to go to this amazing game show. They are the most passionate people who are going to evangelize more than anything to their friends or, to their online audiences. There's a lot of European YouTubers who maybe didn't make it over for E3. And as people, games media is becoming more and more word of mouth, normal consumer driven as opposed to traditional games media. So I feel like Gamescom is becoming more and more important. I don't think E3 is not going to close up shop and go do something else because no one's going to turn up
Never
next
mind.
year or anything.
We're going to become a construction show. We give up.
But I do think that Gamescom is definitely, like, its star is rising.
Well, I mean, exactly what you're saying seems to make sense, especially with not so much trailers, I don't think, but anything that you can get your hands on, like things that you could actually have first-person experience with, playable, and then talk about that.
Absolutely. I would say something that you can't get that you couldn't experience unless you were there and hearing someone talk about it was Microsoft's HoloLens, which Bernie and Gavin and I got to try out, and actually a few Rooster Teeth people got to try out, and we didn't shut up about it for the rest of the show because it was so cool. But that's something that the audience outside, the external audience, really isn't going to get to. You don't get the same experience. It's not a trailer you can see same day. It's just not an experience you get there. So those kinds of things I think are the most important at events like this.
Mm-hmm. Well, that being said, so we got quite a few trailers out of Gamescom.
Yes, we did.
I think the one that really struck me the most was probably the Tomb Raider one.
Let's talk about it because it was controversial.
Was it? Okay, so
it was a bit controversial because people felt that this version of Ms. Croft was a little too Assassin's Creed-y, a little too take down and willy-nilly to kill people, and that's not really what we want from Tomb Raider, right?
Like she was isolating guards to take them down, or stalking them, following them, and then taking them out.
Well, that's funny because that's exactly what my perception on it was when I watched it. Was one, it felt like a better Assassin's Creed than Assassin's Creed 4 was when it comes to stealth and stalking, at least as far as I played in 4, which is pretty good ways. I'm like 80%.
Assassin's Creed 4 is like a really, really awesome sailing game.
It is. I mean, it's not really, that wasn't the focus of that one. You're not an assassin really to speak of, at least to start with. But this one definitely nailed that stealth killing kind of thing. But it felt so sociopathic. Like,
Right.
she didn't feel like the kind of character you would think. And well, in one, she definitely did a lot of the same stuff. There was a lot of very brutal, violent stuff that your character does, but it's all very contextually motivated by the fact that her ship's been attacked. She's trying to defend her friend. She's trying to get her friend back. The people that she's fighting are very clearly
She's got like some crazy cultist thing going on.
Yeah, the people that she's taking down are generally pretty off the rocker and having just kidnapped her friend and doing some weird ritual to her. This one, because we don't have that context, you're watching her do these things. It's like, I mean, she was kind of like a college student in the first one,
right?
And now she's shanking people in the neck.
She's changing
that's
her
her
name
master's
too.
studies.
Oh, okay.
She's got a master's in shanking.
Okay.
She's gonna change her last name to Fisher, and then the series will continue on.
I mean, did that bother you? Though? Did it feel like that was too much?
I'd want to see more. I kind of like that she's. Although, remember the first trailer we got for this game was her in like a therapist's office being like, I killed everyone.
Yeah.
Like, she seemed a little off her rocker. So maybe this is us exploring Lara Croft.
Maybe
off
it's
her
all in
rocker.
her mind. None of
Oh.
this is happening.
That's deep.
That'd be the worst game ever. Can you imagine? It starts off, she's just this wreck, and she's like, this thing's going on. Goes to bed one night, kills all these people, and then wakes up in the morning like, oh, it was just a dream.
Someone should call. Someone
That would
should
be
make,
so invalidating.
Absolutely. Someone should make DMT the adventure and then just make that a game. I just came up with that. That's for you, audience. You just go with that now. You just make a game.
Yeah, I always like the idea of, like, I get that when she's come up on people and there's violence and she has to kill people sometimes, but always felt very like she wasn't looking forward to it. She did it because she had to, not because she was pursuing it, because she had no other option.
Right, very
More or
last
less.
resort.
Yes.
As opposed to...
She was reluctant.
Yeah, as opposed to, it seems in some of these situations, she could have just continued to sneak. Instead,
Right.
she was just like, bye, bitch.
Right, and it's like, if you gotta kill people, could you just be a little bit reluctant about it?
Yeah, just give me some pathos. I was actually a little bit. It gave me a moment's pause to really worry if I was maybe showing some little sign of chauvinism when it came to this, because I was watching it. I was like, why does this bother me so much? Why is watching?
Oh, because a
this
lady
character-
can't kill
Ryan.
Well, that was the
somebody?
thing. is-
Ryan, no.
Well, that's-
Ryan, the hourglass.
You failed in the only
We're
task you've
good.
been given.
I had to cheesy bite.
We can just go by the loading bar.
There you
We'll go
go.
by the loading bar.
People keep noticing, like just noticing that the loading bar is actually that it
Moving,
moves.
that's
How long
animated.
has it been? It's been like that for a long
As long
time
as
now,
it's
right?
been there, yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as it was on the TV, it was animated. But I was concerned that maybe it is like, why does this particular portraying of this character doing this? Because I've played video games where the character does violent things. But I thought about it, I was like, well, in Last of Us, Ellie, you play as her for a while, and she does some pretty messed up things. And I was like, oh, that was fine with that. So it's not a gender thing. It's just because of the lack of context.
Meg got a tea delivery.
I did.
Good, because some people on Twitter were like, honey, drink some tea.
I'm trying. I had to put blonde extensions in my head and take them out before the show. And
I thought they looked really good on me, though.
Yeah, they looked really good on
Yeah,
you.
well, you gave me the Jedi.
We played, Gus and I played with your purple ones the other week.
Oh, really? The things
We
that
put them in and we're running around like, I'm Meg.
the things that I leave here, like one time Adam Ellis combed his beard with my brush, like on a live stream. Like just like the weirdest stuff happens to the stuff I leave here. So.
But yeah, so it was just, I think what it came down to for me was just the lack of context in the violence that bothered me.
I think it's because it's not even the lack of context for me. It's that we've built up this character as being so young, so ambitious, and so...
And at this time, still not, I mean, you can't call her innocent after the first one, but she's still on that side as opposed
Right.
to, later
Yeah.
crazy adventures.
Right. I
Well,
feel
even
like
there,
she's
she wasn't as
still on the
violent in the
edge.
later stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
she maybe took her rage out on some bats pretty hardcore.
Do you
There were
think
some people, but
maybe this is the Daniel Craig Laura Croft? Like the early, like the darker,
Little more in
grittier,
touch,
and the more
yeah.
and the more like I drowned somebody. No, wait, hold
This
on.
is
Somebody
Nolan's
else.
Laura Croft.
Right. Somebody else drowned the girlfriend in oil.
drown the girlfriend in oil. Which one are we
Yeah.
talking about?
I don't know. One of the Daniel Craig ones. Not the last one, but I think it was the one before that. Quantum
Yeah,
of Solace,
that-
maybe?
No one talks about that one.
I don't know.
For good
I'm
reason.
bad
It's
with my
not
James
good.
Bond.
Good
All I
one.
know is that the Daniel Craig ones are so much like they're darker and grittier and more serious than say who was the dude with the blue eyes who was in the ones with the Halle Berry?
Oh, Pierce
Oh,
Brosnan.
yeah.
There we go. Then like the Pierce Brosnan ones.
Those were a lot more
I never
campy,
know
yeah.
any James Bond trivia, so I got really excited to know his name.
Congratulations, you got one.
the one that was also in
He was,
the movie with Robin Williams.
First of
where
all, he was in Dante's Peak, Pierce
Whoa.
Brosnan's finest, one of my favorite
right.
films.
He was in that.
Love that movie. But also the Bond films that he was in, there was one where they did the invisible cars that everybody was really pissed off about. You guys remember that? They were like on
Yes,
ice.
cloaking
it was
car.
so
Yeah.
great.
Everyone was really mad, and I was like, "Oh, it's cool." It's not cool. All right, it's not cool. And I was like, "It's
Well,
fine."
don't worry. They're already kind of teasing the tech car for the new one. So new Daniel Craig will have some sort of gadgety car.
But he's not driving an Aston Martin in this one now, right? Like they've changed the Bond car. It's fine. This isn't James Bond cast.
I don't know
It
cars.
can
I don't
be.
know.
Yeah.
They showed me a picture of it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. That looks expensive.
Yeah.
Probably someone paid a lot to
I think
have
it's
that
now
in the movie.
he drives a BMW or something. Somebody tell me on.
He's driving a Toyota. It's actually he's got a Celica or something.
Any given Sunday, he wins a Super Bowl and drives off in a Hyundai.
I guess people are saying that they agree. What is it? Alan Guzman on Twitter says there's no context to why she's killing. That's why it feels so strange. With Nate Drake, you can assume bad people are after him, which is true. But he also is kind of a dick and steals shit from foreign countries.
Well, and I haven't seen the animations of that, but does he violently shank people right in the throat too? Because she was going after that jugular.
Yeah, she gets a lot of blood. She just like
Yeah, I mean, she was getting in there.
paints the walls.
And then she's covered in it, and it's just really.
You haven't seen the
hyper-violent.
cutscene yet where she like pulls it off her face and licks.
Where she turns around and she's wearing one of their faces. Like,
Turns to her friend and goes, "Who am I?"
Oh no! Don't kill me. We should just make it the most fucked up game we can possibly make.
That got real dark real
It's
quick.
like this is like Tomb Raider. That's the name of the game.
I'm Face Raider now.
cool. That sounds like one of the knockoff disguises that you'd see in a Metal Gear game. I mean, after this cardboard box and then you're the enemy's face on
I
top
like-
of your face.
I like the idea of him just like putting an enemy's face on the cardboard box.
Guys, I think
No, look, I'm Frank. I'm Frank.
I think we just figured out like an RT short. Just Tomb Raider, just sponsor us because we'll make
There we go.
the most fucked up thing that doesn't advertise your game in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire. That was the movie that he was in with.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, where he
was
was
the
the new
boyfriend.
boyfriend. I'm really bad
a
with the
drive-by
names of movies,
fruiting.
but I can remember the other movies that all the co-stars were also in. It's weird.
So you're like half of this Kevin Bacon game ready to go.
I'm half the Kevin Bacon game.
The game. Let's see. What else did we get out of GameCon?
They confirmed Mafia 3.
They did. That trailer also fairly brutal, but not as intense as Tomb Raider.
Yeah. There's I was hoping to see some more stuff with like Kingdom Hearts always. No Legend of Zelda, as far as I know, at Gamescom, which is weird because they skipped E3 this year as well after showing at E3 last year. So I'm still wondering what's going on with that game. I hope good things, but
Maybe it was in the truck with all those amiibos when it got stolen.
oh my god. Did you hear that Amiibo has sold like 10.5 million units, something like that? It's way outsold Wii U.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense though, because you can use
Because
it
you
with
get
more just
multiple,
the Wii U, right?
well, but you get multiple amiibo. Like you're not gonna. Well, I have only. I was like, you're not just gonna get one. I have one, but most people have.
You have one?
Yeah, I have Toad.
You only have one?
Yeah, I only
Meg.
have one.
How did you stop at one?
Because I only wanted Toad.
Well, what if they make a
Toad.
different Toad?
I would get it if they made a Captain
There we
Toad.
go.
I would also get him.
There
they
you go,
only
Nintendo.
make one Toad.
I just told you how to sell
Well,
another.
they're gonna make a Captain Toad one. I think they announced the Captain. Well, because Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is gonna work with Amiibo, so they've got to make a Captain Toad amiibo.
Does it not work yet? Isn't it almost a year out at this point?
It might work now, but you don't have a Captain Toad amiibo yet to put in there. So I don't know what you do with the amiibos.
You just hold it and treasure it and love it and hug it.
Gus and I are so convinced that game's a hit, and nobody else cares about that game.
You were the only two I ever hear talking about Captain
Yeah, I
Toad
like that.
Treasure Tracker.
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago. You guys were talking about. You're like Wii U. You're like of the big hits. I can think of Captain Toad, and I'm like, what? What?
Captain Toad?
I cosplayed Captain Toad, and not one person the whole day. They were like, "What is that thing?" I'm like, "I'm Captain Toad." And like,
Yeah.
"There's a different Toad. What is that? I don't know."
Is that a wart? You got a
Yeah.
wart on your head?
Did you
all
make
right?
up this outfit? No, this is what he wears.
James Bond is driving the DB10.
Oh, so
in
it is
the
an
new
Aston
one.
Martin,
It
but
is. It's the Aston.
previously
It's the
it
Aston
was-
Martin DB10.
Previously, it was BMW. Now they're back to Aston Martin.
Doesn't it
That's
just
what is.
depend on which car manufacturer is going to pay them $1 billion
Well,
this time around?
traditionally, the Bond car is the Aston Martin. That's like traditionally his car. And the Vanquish was his very sexy car that was the one that was see-through. And then they stopped making them. This has been all I know about cars. Thank you.
Also,
You could have just not included that and you would have looked like you knew a lot about cars.
Oh my God.
Joshua Badel on Twitter reminds us also that Halo Wars 2 got announced.
We're
Yes.
getting
Can I
there.
just say why?
It's on the list. Can you say why?
Can I
Do you
say
know why?
why?
I wanted to send you an article. I saw an article that was like, Microsoft finally has its mic drop moment with Halo Wars 2. And I was
What?
like, Ashley is not going to like this article.
Is it like, oops, we accidentally announced something. I dropped the mic.
Here's the weird thing. It's not that it was Halo Wars was not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
It could
it's
have it could have been better, but RTS is a really difficult genre to do on console with controllers. In fact, it makes me wonder how that like future like the keyboard support, if that's going to actually make it a legitimate genre on console. But aside from that, it did 2.3 million units, which is fine. It's not fine for a Halo game.
It's not great for a Halo game, no.
I'd say it's probably great
is a
for an
tentpole-
RTS on a console, right? But it's not great for a Halo game. I just don't know why they'd be like, and now, Halo Wars 2.
I want you to know what the E3.
You've been waiting, right? Right?
It just doesn't seem like that was the game that anybody was waiting for.
Did they have one of those like moment of silence and then somebody in the audience was like, yeah.
Somebody just coughed and they were like, there he is. I think it was Comic-Con actually where I saw Halo Wars. They had one of those areas, like a Microsoft area where you would go up and they had a few different games for you to look at, and everybody wanted to look at I think it was Rome. What was that damn Rise?
Rise.
Rise.
That
Son of Rome.
Yeah, that damn game. And everybody was like lined up for that. And then they were like, so Halo Wars is over here. I'm really, yeah, so we're going to talk about Rise. And Major Nelson's like, we also have Halo Wars. And I'm like,
It's
get
totally
off
here,
of it.
guys. Come
Get
on.
it off. Larry, we're done. Let's
Please-
go.
please
Rise.
look at it.
Nobody wanted
We
to
worked
look.
so hard.
It was like a big line for Rise, and Halo Wars was just in the corner like, hey guys, okay. It was very sad.
Well, I'm going to take a moment here before we continue to talk a little about Crunchyroll. I actually, I can't talk about that yet, but we did a stunt thing that we recorded. But that brought to my mind the fact that I just blew through all of the manga for Attack on Titan and have started watching the anime on Crunchyroll, which I didn't realize until recently that not only do they usually simulcast a lot of the more popular shows, but they also have the manga as well. So they only have like the last 10, 15 episodes or issues, but a lot of them as they come out, you can also read the manga on Crunchyroll.
Very cool.
So have you watched any Attack on Titan?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah?
I'm all the way through it.
Really?
Yes.
Did you read the manga and the anime?
No,
or-
I haven't read the manga, so I would love to read it.
Manga? Am I saying it
What?
right?
It's fine.
Manga.
Say
I'm from
It's
Georgia.
Totally fine.
I watched the first episode and noped my way out of it.
Yeah, well,
It's
it
pretty
doesn't
intense.
get any better.
That's
I mean,
that's why
less-
when people are like, "Oh, it gets worse,"
Yeah.
and I got to the end and went, "I don't want worse."
I will say, I don't think it gets. When we say good or bad, we're not saying like it's bad quality. It doesn't get any more emotionally devastating than the first episode. I don't think. I don't think there's ever ever a moment that's harder than what happens in the first episode. There's
think
just
so?
a lot of more violence, but
There's a lot more violence, and no one
Violence
is
I
safe.
can deal with.
Like
Yes.
they even occasionally will take time to like go back and make you really like some people, and then the people that you already know are dead.
they gotta
Oh,
go.
Yeah.
they did a redacted like
No,
Game
no,
of Thrones.
They didn't redact it.
No. I'm just
she's
saying.
saying-
I'm
she's
not.
not saying
I'm
what
not
it
saying the
is.
thing. I'm just
Right.
saying
No.
like there's a thing in Game of Thrones
Yeah,
where
it's-
things. In fact,
don't
you know
wanna
what? I hear
spoil,
that
but, like,
series. I hear
yeah.
that series compared to Game of Thrones a lot in the no one is safe kind of
Yes,
mentality.
I would absolutely say that. There's things that happen that you're like, clearly this isn't gonna happen. Or you get like that, like, they're so dumb trying to make me believe this is really happening. Like that happens a lot in Attack on Titan. So it's really good, and I was so impressed when we were playing with the Attack on Titan toy. You were like, I just read all the manga, and I was like, look at you.
Yeah.
Such a moment for you.
Oh.
No, continue your
Okay.
read, and
Oh.
then someone's brought up a really great point about the
Okay.
thing.
Well, their new they've got a new summer lineup for simulcast, which includes Roka, Gate, Ushio and Tora, and Monster Musume. Musume. We have an exclusive offer for those of you who are our listeners. Try out Crunchyroll Premium for 30 days free with crunchyroll.com/thepatch. Unlimited anime, manga, and drama titles. Newest episodes as soon as 1 hour after air in Japan via simulcast. All episodes professionally subtitled, and all episodes are ad-free in 1080p HD. I can say the whole thing.
You got it.
Thank you. Enjoy access across all devices: Xbox, PlayStation, Wii U, Roku, Android, iOS, Roku, again. Apple TV, whatever you got. That's crunchyroll.com/thepatch. Thank you so much for being a sponsor.
Yay.
So what's okay? What
So
you
this
got?
is the point that Tristan Young at Stolen Labyrinth on Twitter brought up. We should take into account HoloLens compatibility with Halo Wars 2. That could be super cool.
Well,
cool.
it is launching on Windows 10 as well.
Yes.
They've said, I think they've said at this point, there's no plans on backwards compatibility, but it will work with Windows 10. So yeah, that's really interesting.
And I mean, with let's see, so Windows 10 comes to Xbox One in November. It's
You
bringing
mean
with
the
it.
new dashboard experience? Or?
Yes,
Mhm.
it's going to be running Windows 10. That's bringing with it DirectX 12. It's getting all the backwards compatibility with the Xbox 360 stuff. It's getting keyboard and mouse support. Is Xbox One basically a PC at this point?
There's a lot of stuff that makes it feel like they're working that direction. The being able to stream is really nice feature, and I've played more with that over Wi-Fi, and it's, I mean, there's definitely latency to it, but it does work really well. But
So not ideal with FPS, but other genres, it's probably
yeah,
gonna be fine.
I'm totally fine playing Assassin's Creed 4 through Wi-Fi, and I've got I don't even have AC. I'm running wireless in. So, but the direction they're going definitely with games having kind of more demos, early access type stuff. You're seeing more of those Steam titles. Ark Survival's announced that's coming to consoles. I don't know specifically Xbox, but they're attracting a lot more of those PC developers to bring their titles onto the console. And I gotta imagine that some of that is because they're making it more open of platform, more like a traditional PC.
They're getting ready for that Steam Box competition.
I know, yeah. There's been some questions too about whether maybe there'll be some kind of streaming possibility.
Yes,
with
it is
Steam.
coming to Xbox One. It'll launch in Microsoft's version of Early Access this winter. And then it'll finish release in sometime in 2016.
That's a cool game. I hope
Art
it.
Survival.
Ark
Yeah.
Survival, yeah.
Evolved.
So, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it just seems like more and more it's becoming a PC. But I don't know that Steam Machine is really that much of a competition. I think that what's the thing they've come with, the little...
Steam Link.
Yes, the link where you can just plug it into the thing and it
Like a
basically streams.
Chromecast or
It's
a- yeah.
exactly.
It's
I think
Valve's version of a Steam Box, basically.
right. I think that does anything that a Steam machine was designed to do in the first place. Because SteamOS is based on Linux, it just can't run as many games. So you'd have to have a Windows PC in your house to actually run the games anyway if you want the bulk of your library, and you have to have a powerful enough PC to be able to run them nicely and do all the processing power and then stream it out to that box, which would then just pop it up on the TV for
Right.
you. So really, the Steam machines aren't letting you get away without a normal PC. It's just a way to get it on your TV, which Steam Link does already.
Well, Steam machines
hang
are
on.
basically console-looking PCs.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
yes and no. Like, you
So they're
could-
just living room PCs.
You can run Windows on those Steam machines as well. So you don't necessarily, it's not a dedicated to Steam OS box. You could easily load it with Windows and it would run because it is a PC in most cases.
Right, but what Valve did pretty geniusly actually was let everybody get excited about Steam boxes and then came out with Steam Link because everyone they're selling to already has powerful PCs that they built and that they rely on. And so they're saying, great, screw buying another PC you don't actually need. Here's a little box that's going to make everything fine and it's $150. Don't buy anything else.
It's a little bit shitty to your hardware partners, but
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. But it is truly very smart in the long run.
And I actually just the other day noticed that that option suddenly was available to me where I have two PCs at my desk and I had Steam open on one because that's what I usually run any of our servers. If I do a dedicated server, I have it over there. And I launched Steam on that machine and all of a sudden it showed all these games installed. That's really weird. It had seen Steam open on my other computer and was now offering me the ability to stream any of the games installed on my other PC. Fortunately, I was in the middle of setting up a server, so I didn't have time to test it. And I haven't had it work again. Like, I don't know what the sequence is. I need to do more research and do it right. But ever since then, it hasn't seen each other.
Weird. I use
Yeah.
it. I mean, I've used it before where because we have several PCs in the house, you just stream from one to the other, and that way you don't have to install the same game on a bunch of different machines.
That's right. I think I saw you doing that once.
Yeah, and it worked great. It worked. I mean, I wouldn't play an FPS with it probably, but like a side scroller or a puzzle game or an RTS or anything like that worked totally fine.
How's the compression? Because the Xbox One streaming, there's definitely, I should qualify that I'm running it on high. There's quality settings, high, medium, low. And maybe it's because I'm playing Assassin's Creed 4, which is these beautiful, scenic Caribbean landscapes, and it's the compression is fairly obvious. You can see everything's a little gritty and dark and almost slightly lower resolution. But how do you feel the Steam stacks up?
I'm not much of a video file, so I don't notice a lot
All
of
right.
that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't bother me or ruin my experience in any way. I'd probably also be the worst person to talk to about things like FPS and how important it is, because you could show me something and I'd be like, that looks really cool, and then show me something else, I'll be like, oh, I like the way those mountains look, and I just can't see a lot of that. It's not the way I look at things.
Uh-huh.
So I'm probably not the best person to ask about that. I would say it wasn't noticeable to me.
Okay.
But
I think that's
it also
enough for
wouldn't
most
be if
people.
I'm playing something like Gauntlet.
Yeah. Well, that'll be something I'll try and continue to test in the future, and we'll see what we get. I'll maybe even try and do like a video where I do a side by side just for the compression. If I can get, say, like a game that's on both console and on Steam, that might be interesting to see what like Assassin's Creed 4 PC version versus Xbox version streamed, just to have apples to apples
Yeah.
kind of comparison.
Get your hardware nerd out. We've even got
I'll
a
do it.
channel for that
Hey.
called The Know.
All right. Let's see what I do.
Let's have your people talk to my people,
Yeah.
and we'll see if we can work something out.
I think I know where you sit. Let's see. What else do we get from Gamescom? There's a couple more trailers that are pretty cool. Like the game that was completely not on my radar at all was Homefront: The Revolution, which is apparently going to get a multiplayer beta on Xbox One this winter.
They switched developers at one point, right?
Well, it sounds like the developers spun off from Crytek.
Right. And then they were like, we're going in a different direction. Bye.
It looked actually, it was a good enough trailer to kind of get me intrigued about it. Where it looked very obviously probably running on the same engine, which is why. But it looked like a city-based version of Far Cry, like Far Cry 4. It even had the same detection, the same kind of setup where it seemed like you go and unlock a part of the map by grabbing a certain thing, and then it showed you everything on the map around it. The tie-ins to Far Cry 4 were really strong, so I'm assuming that's just coming with the engine. But I think it might be a really cool game. Plus, it had kind of a pop-up weapon selection that was pretty neat, where you could actually modify your guns in the field. and
That's
just swap
cool.
out scopes and things like that.
I only remember, I think the game was delayed, or maybe it was when the developer spun off or whatever. We did a news story about it, and everyone was mad.
Everyone's
That's
mad.
what I think of when I think of that game. That's all I remember.
Just that it made people angry.
Everybody angry.
I've never played any of the previous Homefront series, so I don't know how this would tie in with the rest of them, but it at least got me interested.
Yeah.
Like, I'm willing to give it a shot, especially if I can just get in the beta.
There is a game.
You're right. There is.
Once
There's a
upon a
game,
time.
and it looks so freaking cool. And it's called The Something, and it was...
The something.
It's not The Squad.
I like the sequel,
What
Deep
is-
into the Something.
God damn it! What is it called? It's not The Squad.
Squat?
It's
What?
It's damn it! And you're in a city, and it's like,
In the city.
oh, please help me, Twitter.
In
Huh?
the city.
The Division.
The Division.
Oh,
See, The Squad was
The
very
Squad.
close.
The Division Squad.
I don't know.
the game that's not out yet.
Yes,
Vice
no, I know.
Division Squad.
But it's something that I'm looking forward to.
Which is, it's very
Why I
similar
thought
that,
about
like,
it. Yeah, right, so
Overrun
thank
City.
you,
Yeah.
thank
No, I
you.
see. I got
You're
it. I got
reminding
it.
me
I
of
see
it.
where you're tying in there. No, it makes
This is
sense.
why we're friends.
Yeah, no, it does look like it's going to be very similar to that. Except I think I don't think this is multiplayer only. I think it's going to have a single player.
And the
I-
Division is multiplayer. I think you have a single player thing, right?
Is
you
there?
Can, you can run by yourself into missions and then get overwhelmed.
Get
I was-
over.
well, because
is that your?
Yeah,
That's
there
your
was
single
a-
player. Is you can get overwhelmed by
Yeah,
things
It
alone.
can be played single player. It's just not designed for it.
Right.
Okay.
It's because I was watching an interview with a developer who was basically like, you can go by yourself, but you can't go very far. Like, you might go and get a few things and come back, but if you go too far, you're just going to get killed.
When you're isolated, you're
Right. You're
in
weak.
danger.
Yeah.
It's like it's sort of like an MMO. In that, well, it is an MMO essentially. Speaking of which,
Or a not so
A semi-mo.
MO, like a kinda mo, little mo.
MO. Few people together hanging out, multiplayer online.
FPHO.
Yeah, no, that's good. We covered it. That's good.
I've lost track at that point.
It's just few people hang out. It's actually a party. It's, just, it's a chill party, though.
The party game.
There's no game.
Yeah.
Just a party.
Yeah, well, it's Mario Party, right? Just
Yes.
chill. Just be there. Have friends. You want to come over and play FPHMO together? That sounds like you're doing taxes or something.
Yeah.
The Division, basically like Mario Party.
Basically.
Patch.
Let's have the pull. Can we have the pull quote on your game, please? Then no.
Well, there was let's see, what else we had? We had Quantum Break. Finally had a trailer. Was the sound
It finally got a date,
broken?
which is 2016. It's weird. The more I learn about that game, I go, I still don't get it. I just don't.
I
will.
They showed a lot of
eventually.
gameplay, which
That's
was
the
cool.
Eventually.
time-stoppy one, right?
That's the time. Well, you have multiple ways to manipulate time. You can apparently from what I could see in the trailer, you could kind of cast a bubble to remotely slow down somebody else's time.
Ooh.
You can slow down everybody's time, or just your time, or manipulate several different ways. And you'll run into enemies who also have the ability to step outside of time.
That's
All of which was a little weird to me because it was like. The one thing I didn't get with some of those instances was you stepped out of time and then they stepped out of time and they're shooting bullets at you and somehow the bullets are still stepped out of time between you and them because it seems like
It's
there's
things that you affect
there's a
are
physics.
out of time.
What did you give it like a physics hug? How does that work?
You give a little physics love.
I demand physical explanation of this.
It's video game. Shut
What
up
if?
and play.
All right,
What
fine.
if you step out of time, but your clothes stay in old time?
Okay, you get $1 million, but
But-
There was also a trailer for Crackdown 3
Yeah.
with fully destructible environments. There was the first game I ever played that had destructible environments. I'm going to try and look it up. It was old. I want to say it had Red
Red
in the
Faction.
name. Red Faction. I think. Look at that. I
Yeah.
think it was Red Faction. I unplayed that game so much. Like I never went through the game. I spent all of my time just like lobbing grenades or something at the ground and seeing.
C4 was big in that one.
And yeah, maybe it was C4 and just like destroying the ground around me. I would do it for hours. I would just destroy the ground and see if I could maybe get down to where it couldn't be destroyed anymore.
I was always so mad
That's
when
how
I
I
ran
played
into
that game.
destroyable things. Like there would be supports or something like. But that was pretty cool. And then with the Armageddon, I think they kind of lost a lot of that. But the Red Faction that was on the 360, which was between Armageddon and Red Faction, which might even be the one that you're talking about. No,
no,
there was
I'm
Red
pretty
Faction,
sure-
Red Faction 2,
I
and then
seem to
there
recall
was
it being on
Guerrilla, Guerrilla was
PC.
a really good one.
This was an older one.
Yeah, that would be Red Faction or Red Faction 2,
Okay.
which were decent, but they were much more kind of Quake era games.
Probably the first
A
one.
lot flatter. They were really cool because they were one of the few first games that you could do that. And honestly, there's not a lot. I mean, to have that level of destructive environments. I really liked it when they got to Guerrilla. I didn't even play Armageddon because after the demo I was like, They didn't tickle my fancy. Which is not the point of any of this conversation we're talking about. Where did we start with this?
Everybody, the cheesy bison made us a little loopy.
I'm a little high on cheesy bites.
Can I have another cheesy bite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a story. I'm going off your script here, Ryan.
I have a
I want
script?
to talk about the story, your little link.
You have a list of cool things that we
I'm
can
just
talk
reading about MeUndies.
You undies.
You would. I got you a thing.
Yeah.
That's for you.
You want-
Okay, there's a. I was telling you about this earlier, Ryan, because I was very excited.
There now. Yeah.
There is.
Now it's a party.
I hope it hasn't been claimed in the time that we're on the patch and the hour ago I checked it. But there is a Super Mario 64 glitch that someone has put a $1,000 bounty on if you can recreate it while running a program that basically takes all of the game's commands and itemizes everything in the code that's happening so that they can figure out how and why this glitch works.
Did they actually call it a bounty? Because that's
Yes.
awesome. They're like, bring me the head of Mario.
I love it. It literally says Super Mario 64 glitch bounty, which is amazing. And we just got off of Summer Games Done Quick, where people exploit glitches all the time for, time trials and all that, like going fast. And this is just in that same vein, and I think it's really, really cool. Basically, what happened, you might be able to find the video in the time that I'm talking. It's a little hard to find. But basically what happened is there's a glitch in Super Mario 64 that allows you to, warp up in an environment that basically shoots you straight up. Obviously, that's really handy for speedrunners and people who want to go fast. And they've figured out how to do that in some instances, but this particular glitch, which happened live on someone's Twitch stream and had never been seen before, it defies all the rules for what they thought they were able to do to warp straight up. So now they're trying to figure out what in the code is happening, and people are like deciphering screenshots, and I love it. How old is that game? And people are still finding new awesome glitches in it.
New ways to break it.
Yes.
Wow,
I
that's a
love
pretty
that.
protracted QA period.
And you get $1,000 if you do it. The guy will give you $1,000.
I wonder, does he get to, whoever gets the money, but do they also get
$1,000,
do they get to name it? Is it going to be like the Picard maneuver?
Oh, that'd be
That's a
awesome.
Star Trek reference.
That would be awesome, though, right?
Yes.
Give it a really cool name.
Oh, do you have to name it after yourself, or can you
No,
just
you
name
can
it whatever?
just name it whatever you want.
What would you name it?
Fancy Cole Medina.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Thanks.
Wow.
I was
gonna
That was
call
like you
it
meant that.
The banana phone switch, but I don't like.
That's
No,
pretty
mine's
good, actually.
stupid. I hate it. I
Banana-
like Funky Cold Medina.
It's Fancy Cole Medina.
Oh.
I can't. Well, Funky Cole Medina is trademarked, so you
Is
can't.
it trademarked if you say it in a song?
Copywritten?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm pretty sure that's a
Fancy Cold Medina.
That's a unique enough string of words that you're like,
Funky warm
that doesn't
Medina.
come up with a lot of conversations. Not a lot of people talking about the
So this
Funky
is
Cole
it.
Medina.
This is the guy's Twitch stream. First of all, you're genius in the booth for finding it. But this is the guy's Twitch stream where the glitch happens. He's running up on these platforms and jumping and getting red coins, and then very suddenly he is at the top
Oh my
of
God.
that. So how did that happen? How did he get up there? It
And
looks
that's
like he-
all. They want it just for the sake of being able to save like a second or two to clear to the top of the stage.
Well, but if they
right?
can figure out, because what the guy goes on to explain in this game is that they figured out if they're between two different types of ceilings, they can do it at any point in the game. They can warp upward if they
Wow.
jump at a precise angle between two ceilings in the game. They don't know why this one works. So if there's a way to exploit it, they could potentially use it over and over and over again. So it could be a save of, minutes even in a speed run, which could be really, really cool. Also, for Summer Games Done Quick, I love that they were like, we do this thing, it takes 97 inputs, and it saves about 15 seconds. But it's like everybody does. I love that it's like, 15 seconds is a pretty big damn save.
That is a big save. When those guys are, I mean, some of those games were ending within like 3 seconds of each other. If you could do something that hacked 15 seconds off, you
Yeah.
would just annihilate the
It's
competition.
amazing. I absolutely love that they do stuff.
Do they watch
So-
like game footage? Do they go home like, oh yeah, no, I see what he
Absolutely.
did there. That was really.
The guy in this video shows itemized game code commands that they look through and figure out what that means and what the game is executing at what exact second.
Here's the trick, though, right? Is so you finally figure out what this is. do you share it
Yes.
for the sake of the speedrunning community and its benefit? And then if so, you've given up your advantage in the next race.
Wow, you do
Sure.
it, you use it yourself once, and then the cat's out of the bag. They're gonna figure it out anyway. Then you put your name on it.
Yeah, I think I think the speedrunning community is very close knit, and if you could not share it, you could say, well, figure it out for yourself. Somebody else will figure out what happened, and then you're the asshole who didn't share and they're all very close knit and tight knit. So you just basically ostracize yourself from your whole community that you're trying to help out there. So they always share tricks and figure it out. And the nice thing is, actually, you saw during Summer Games Done Quick, they're all like, so-and-so figured out how to do this, shout outs to so-and-so. They're always really nice and give credit. So
Oh,
you
fine.
share it.
If you want to play nice.
You share it. You do it you get a world record time first, so it's your world
Right,
record
there you
time.
go.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
as long as you get your name on the board.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Then you
okay,
share it.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, when you look good, when you look good, you feel great. It's a cliche because it's true. MeUndies understands this, and that's why they've designed underwear that makes you look and feel fantastic to anyone that you happen to show it to. MeUndies is made from
Why did you just
modal.
wink at us?
I mean, you happen to show it to. You being my audience at the moment. Also out there, for anyone that you happen to show it to.
That's more like
Is that
it.
better? All right.
Yeah.
Now, you wanted me to wink at more people?
Yeah.
All right. MeUndies is made of modal, a fabric that's twice as soft as cotton. That's twice as soft as whatever underwear you're wearing right now. I'm not judging. MeUndies has tons of colors and styles, and the only place to get matching pairs for men and women. So you can, have like a style off.
Do you ever want to look? I've never wanted to match someone's panties.
Oh, come on. What
Really?
about... Yeah, don't you want to have his and her? Where you and Gavin, you come out of the closet at the same time, you're like,
Never.
oh! And then you
Never.
leap into the air and touch parts.
Touch what?
Just whatever you
what?
got. Whatever happens to hit.
What are they going to do? Touch dicks?
I mean, no, you can...
When him and Gavin come out of closets, they always touch dicks.
That's how it goes, yeah. When we come out of adjoining doors, we have to...
Yeah,
That's how men work, right?
Yeah. The closest I get is I do chest bumps with Bernie. I'm going chest bump. It goes to his belly button because I'm tiny.
Nailed it.
Well, if you don't want that to happen, they release a new design every month. Plus, we all know that paying for shipping sucks, so MeUndies has removed that from the equation. All orders in the U.S. and Canada, there you go, ship for free. MeUndies even has a money-back guarantee. If you don't love your first pair, you get to keep it for free. You literally have nothing to lose. Nothing. Except my respect.
You're so intense today.
To sweeten the deal, MeUndies is offering you 20% off your first order at MeUndies.com/thepatch. That's a special offer just for our listeners. Make sure you go to MeUndies.com/thepatch to get 20% off your first order, and so that they know that we sent you and that we love you and wanted you to have something nice to gird your loins with.
I think that Ryan really practices the carrot and the stick. There's a little bit of winking going on, like, hey, if you want to show him, and he goes, but I won't respect you if you don't get this.
Yes. You gotta,
You fear him, but you also want his approval really badly.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you negging, Ryan? Ryan, did you
Am
neg
I?
the
Oh my God.
Did I?
Ryan, you negged the audience.
That wasn't negging, was it?
You negged the audience.
Ryan loves the game. That's Ryan's favorite book. Everybody knows now. Everyone knows your
It's
secret.
the game that I accidentally play, I guess. I didn't even know. I'm sorry. Well, hey, while you guys are talking about that, or sorry, eating those, you're kind of busy at the moment, so I have something to tell you that's not ad related. But this is the other really big story that was kind of blew me away this week. So the Dinklebot's out.
Dinklebot's out.
He's been
R.I.P.
de-dinked. Yeah.
R.I.P. Dinklebot.
They're gonna when they're going in to record Nolan North to do the new voice of the Ghost.
Ghost,
We
yeah.
have to actually remember what it's called now. The Ghost. They're gonna retcon him all the way back through the entire game.
Yes, they said I understand that they want it for consistency, but it just feels like such a slap in the face. Peter Dinklage is an amazing actor. Somebody else, I refuse to believe, somebody else fucked up here. If it's a vocal direction, if it was the writing, I don't know, but somebody screwed up and they actually used his run-through takes for everything, and they didn't use the final footage, and I refuse to believe Peter Dinklage couldn't have done a better job.
I haven't heard really glowing reviews of his voice work in the Game of Thrones game either. So it's entirely possible that he's an amazing actor. It might be that he's not a voice actor.
That's true.
But that said, that sucks. Has anyone been recast in a game before, like retcon recast? Has that ever happened?
Well, you remember how many times Nico talked after that guy had a little bit of a discussion with Rockstar? Not much.
Yeah,
I just feel really bad because
but they didn't recast him.
it's very true.
They just uncast him. Like, you no
You've
longer
been
talk.
decast.
Nico tongue.
Strong silent type. Gotcha.
Yeah. No, I have a friend of mine who's a professional voice actress, and she's actually a director for some of the Resident Evil games. She was like the director for the vocal performances, and she would talk about how some of the actors would struggle so hard with some of their lines that they would actually take words from one take, and sometimes you hear a complete sentence and it's 7 different takes, but they still get the best possible action and acting that they can get out of those actors. But I just don't believe that they were like, yeah, nailed it. Let's go. Next one.
Nicely done. Yeah. Way to go.
Okay.
Nice. Good read, Pete. Well, they're not changing the writing either, so it's going to be the exact same lines.
I like the idea of calling him Pete.
Pete. Yes. Good job,
Thanks,
Pete. Next line, Pete.
Well, I'm interested to see what Nolan North does with it. Obviously, he is the voice of video games at this point, so he does an amazing job. I'm sure he'll do great. I kind of feel
He does a great job. Troy Baker does a great job.
Yeah,
Are we
those are
going
the
to get
two.
any new voice actors at any point?
Well,
I'm sure there are a lot of male voice actors trying to break into the industry. They're like,
Like-
oh, great, Nolan North got it. Oh, great. Oh, Troy Baker. All right, awesome.
Yeah, it's weird. Like those two come up all the time, and it's a weird thing because there are hundreds of voice actors. There are so many games that come out, and they all feature a lot of different talent. But those two seem to crop up in everything. Even sometimes Nolan North will be additional voices. What? What do you mean additional voices? You came in to record like, oh, that one's a sneaky one, just like as a background character.
Absolutely.
And have somebody say that stuff, right?
But still, somehow he's in every game, every single one.
Well, that's what's so cool, actually, about having lived with a voice actor is she would come in and be like, oh, I recorded lines for this game. I'm 17 different characters. And they would do it all in one vocal session. So they probably tacked it onto the end of like, great, we'll have you do your Last of Us session. Could you just do like 6 other grunts that we'll hear in the game? Like they do stuff like that constantly. It's really, really cool. But the thing that gets me is that they're using, Nolan North, uses his real voice for Drake. So are we going to get his real voice again? Like, you can only use your real voice so many times. Like, H. John Benjamin, you can pick him out of anything because he uses his real
that's
voice
true.
for that. So, like, are we going to start getting an oversaturation of that voice?
Well, do you want to hear Nolan North, or do you want to hear a different? Well, I got to think that part of what the performance we got with Peter Dinklage was by direction. Now, whether they've realized from the blowback on the current one that it was not that great of an idea.
Which is weird. Now, we'll get into the reaction now that he's being recast, but go on. Finish your point.
So, I feel like they're going to push him to be at least a little bit mechanical, a little bit robotic.
Well, Nolan North talked about that in an interview. He said, we want to give him as much life as possible, but we don't want to be unrealistic.
Mm-hmm. What? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't want it to be an unrealistic flying globe that follows you around and has somehow resurrected you from death while you were in a car.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
He doesn't
But
have
not
time
too
to
far
tell
from
you.
realism.
Or did he
doesn't have time to
undeath
tell you
you?
why he doesn't have time to tell you how the voice acting should
That
be.
was my favorite part. They did a new trailer, and Nolan North does the voiceover on for the Taken King, and at the end of it, it's like, become a legend, and like all that says to me is that you become a legend, and then no one will ever tell your story again because legends are not spoken of in this universe.
They have no time for legends.
Or if you want to find out about it, you just need to go check out a website somewhere that has all that information. It's not in the game so much.
Yeah. I think we're gonna like, as voice actors, like look at is Troy Baker who does the Joker, right?
He took over as the Joker,
He took
but
over as the Joker.
Mark Hamill really did the basis for the voice, and I think Mark Hamill did Arkham Knight, but I could be wrong. Troy Baker took over for Origins, I believe. I could be off by one.
Yeah, so he's in Origins, and he does it like you would never know.
It's pretty
if you
spot
didn't
on.
know that it was Troy Baker. He really uses his voice as a talent and takes on a completely different character. These guys are professionals. I'm hoping that's what we'll do. I don't know what that means the ghost is going to sound like, but hopefully it doesn't sound anything like Drake, because that'd be super weird. But people are now getting really upset about Dinklebot being recast. They're like, no, he's a robot. Of course he sounded mechanical and monotone.
Well, and they've
I
got
wasn't that bothered by it. I don't give a shit about what the
I
ghost
It was
sounds
pretty.
like.
It was pretty weak.
when I first heard it when I was playing the game. I was less than impressed. I was like, oh, Tyrion, oh dear. But I wonder if it's like it's crossed that point to now the game's been out for a year and people are like that. They've had that voice with them for a year and they've just gotten used to it and taken that monotone voice into their hearts, and now they're really pissed because it's going to change.
Well, but for most people, they haven't had it with them for a year. They've had it for the beginning of the game and then nothing for the last 2 DLC packs because he's not at all in. He doesn't speak at all in any of the other DLCs. So like, I also wonder if there's some sort of issue where they couldn't get him back,
or where
he refused. He saw the blowback and was like, "Screw it, I'm not doing that anymore. Recast me then. Like I'm not gonna put myself up there." For
I could totally see that. Just being like, nah.
Yeah.
We didn't negotiate any additional stuff, or like maybe the additional stuff was originally it was negotiated with Marty, and so they nullified that contract when Marty left, or
Well, here's the thing too. So
left.
Yeah, decided to leave of his own accord completely. With this new expansion that's coming up with Taken King, they're releasing it, in that big bundle. What really makes it seem like they're aiming to get a lot of people who have completely untouched the game or have completely never played the game. So those people will get this entirely new experience without ever having heard the Dinklebot.
Absolutely, and that's actually kind of Luke Smith, the creative director over at Bungie, was talking about that specifically. He was saying we want Nolan North's Ghost to take you from level 1 to level 40, which would only obviously happen if you're either starting a new character or if you've never played the game before.
Well, and there'll still be a giant gap unless they're going to add in additional dialogue for as you said, he's completely absent from the 2 expansions in between. Like, he doesn't even say just the normal, like, hey, just idle stuff that you get sometimes in the first part of the campaign. So it's really weird that your ghost is like, oh man, I got a throat thing. I'm gonna be quiet for a little while.
Maybe it's just a malfunction with the with the speaker.
That would be great if it kicks back in, like it starts over the next one. It's like, oh yeah, there we go, much better.
Here's the thing, I love Claptrap, so I guess I'm not that picky with voices. He never annoyed me.
Claptrap had a lot of personality, though.
I love Claptrap. People hate him.
Claptrap oozes personality, though.
He does. That was the complete opposite end of the robot spectrum. That's like, hey, I have a lot of things going for me. And Dinklebot's like, hey, man, like, back to life. Cool, right?
You know who Dinklebot always reminded me of was Marvin, the depressed robot from Hitchhiker's Guide, who was played by Alan Rickman in it was the movie, right? The one that the movie adaptation they made. And he was voiced by Alan Rickman, who was that same sort of thing, like, yeah, well, I guess this is what we're doing now. He's just always sad. He sounded like that.
He did. He really did. Now I wonder, because they're going to have to, essentially, unless they really kind of retrim every cinematic and timing in the game, he's going to have to maintain the same pacing to his words. Now, you can play with that a lot, but it'd be weird if it's like he got finished his line and he read it so much more enthusiastically, and then it's just like, yeah, we did it. You're right, Dinkle. We got it.
Yeah. Well, the thing that was interesting, too, is that Nolan North said in an interview he didn't listen to any of Peter Dinklage's lines.
Ooh, so shut down.
Yeah, he said he told him specifically he did not want to hear his performance because he didn't want any preconceived notion of what it should sound like.
Which is, so, as an artist, I can see being really good. As like you're replacing this role. I don't know.
That's weird,
I just think
right?
it's interesting to see you don't hear what you have to work with. Like if you're ADRing a movie or a game or anything like that, you're looking at something and going, okay, that's how I said it there. All right, here we go. And then you say it again. Like you want to get the same cadence, like the same timing. So are they just saying like, great, Nolan, you have about 5 seconds here. Make that sentence 5 seconds long.
Is that even believable though? I mean, so this is.
But this one's mouth doesn't move.
That's very
so
true.
It's like they don't have to worry about syncing or anything like that. They just need to get the lines out.
Well,
That's very true.
Nolan North is a professional video game voice actor, and this is one of the biggest video game voice actor blowback controversies that we've had in quite a long time.
Yeah.
He really just paid no attention to this. Like, oh yeah, that sounds bad for that guy. I don't need to know about it though, because I'm awesome.
I think that's I
He
agree
is
with
awesome
you.
though. He's so handsome.
He is. Although I won't say it. We'll talk about it later. He is very handsome though.
Hold on.
You want to do like a MeUndies jumping touch with him?
I just feel like when I see Drake and then I see him, he's just like a slightly older version of Drake, and I'm like, oh, I'm comparing you, and it's not. You're just not as handsome as Drake. Sorry.
I just feel like he eats well like a fine wine.
Yeah. When I see
Plus, he's
Nolan
just
North,
really,
I'm like, oh, you're just not young enough to play him in a movie, but so close.
I met him a couple years ago when I was working at IGN, and I was just like,
oh, I'm absolutely. I'm sure I'd be
He got
like,
me. He got me.
hi. I just feel like he has to live to an impossible standard because he plays one of the sexiest men in video games. But I also agree. I never really thought of that. I guess I agree with you that I think it's a little strange that he never went to see what all the fuss was about.
I would. I mean, yeah.
I would.
Yeah, I would be curious what all this nonsense is about.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes there'll be writers who don't read stuff while they're working on a project because they don't want to even subliminally bring that into whatever they're working on. They don't want to carry that baggage with them. So as he's constantly working on projects, I could see how it would be difficult to listen to other stuff if you're trying really hard to create something new without external factors.
Right, but when the blowback started, he wasn't involved with the project. So
But he was involved with other projects.
Right, but you wouldn't think like it's not like he's thinking like, oh, don't listen to that because I don't want that to get into my head. He wasn't involved with Destiny at all at that point. So I would think just as a human being, not as like a professional, just as a human being, you'd probably be like, what does that sound like? I want to hear what everybody's talking about, just to find out what everybody's talking about.
But maybe he didn't want to internalize it and bring any element or even like overreaction, like overcompensation to whatever project he was working on at the time, because he's always working on something.
Sure.
I love this idea that he showed up, he listens to it, and then shows up the next day to do Uncharted 4 lines. He's like, oh, look at that. Damn it. Tinkle in my head.
I think we're
we're
close
about
to
out
it.
of
But I
time.
have one thing I want
Okay,
to
what you got?
Did you guys hear about the game that you can't beat on Steam?
Yes.
Journey of the Light. It was someone on the site, as a track, reminded me of it.
And boy, the people are
saying that-
going deep into tracking down this issue, like trying
It's
to nail
really
it down.
crazy. So for those who haven't heard of it, the game was called Journey of the Light or Journey to the Light. I gotta look it up. There we go. Journey of the Light, and it's a game. It's intentionally marketed as an incredibly difficult game. It consists of 8 chapters, theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
We say theoretically because no one has ever beat the first one, and like it basically like it's just one level. No one's ever beat it. The creator hasn't even beat.
He's got the achievements for chapters 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, but even the creator doesn't have the
Yeah, he
achievements
doesn't
for
have all 8.
the later chapters. So it's like the rest of the game just doesn't exist for all intents and purposes.
As far as anyone's been able to prove, yes.
Right. How is that? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? A game that's impossible. There have been difficult games before. Like there was one that only 30 people ever managed to beat because you had to have like video editing skills and HTML and you had to know all this stuff. And so it's one of those insanely difficult, intentionally games.
I don't think that was a sold game, though.
Let me look up what that was.
It was like an intellectual kind of sort of experience. But it
Not
wasn't,
Prawn. There we go.
Yeah. But that wasn't for money, I don't think. I don't think you put out cash to play that.
Well, there was a similar controversy with, Love Plus. We talked about it once on the patch. It's there's an achievement in it that's impossible to get. It will never be unlocked. And the game creator came out and said, I will never unlock it. This is not me saying that you have, and people went super deep ARG level trying to figure out how to unlock it. There is no way to unlock it. And I say that's really lame. So
The
I
Steam
say the same
achievement
thing
that
to
nobody
him.
unlocked.
Right. It's for Hate Plus.
Apparently
Plus.
now we
Hate
have.
Plus.
Apparently we have a lot of them now because so people have gone all the way down into the files on this game.
Right.
Just kind of to like do some hash comparisons to see if it's the exact
If the rest even
like level
exists.
1 versus level 2 is the same size, which they are all the same size and have the same creation date.
Right.
And now
so
people
are
asking
theorizing that there are no 8 levels. There is only one level, and that the game itself is a scam.
Right, it's just completely impossible. Now the guy, and I've seen the most recent update I saw was the developer, Lord Kaz, I want to say.
Yeah.
Has responded and said, "Oh my gosh, I did a fix in late July, and I did something horrible. Thank you so much for noticing. I accidentally broke it. You really couldn't do anything, but I'm gonna fix it. Don't worry." And everyone's like,
Get your Steam refunds in now, kids, because that sounds like a scam.
He also complained about the Steam refund. He showed a graph of his sales ever since that has become a thing. It's like,
Since Steam made it easier for people to out my scam, my sales have really dropped.
really bad. Which the way that
This
works
is-
is you can only get a refund within the first 2 hours. So if you play more than 2 hours of the
Oh,
game,
that's
you can no longer.
really shitty. Steam's got to step in on stuff like this.
Well, it's games like this that may or may not be total scams show the importance of something like Steam refunds, but that 2-hour thing is not. That's got to be fixed. Do you make it a sliding scale of here's on average how long it takes to beat if you You can even use our favorite new website, How Long to Beat, and see if it takes more than, if you're more than 20% into a game, then deal with it. If you're not, then you can have the refund. 2 hours is just, especially because there are so many short games. We play a ton of short games for Game Club, and that seems unfair to games that are cheap and short.
Well, yeah.
But also for games like this that are incredibly hard that you think like, well, I just haven't mastered it
Right.
yet. I just haven't mastered it. And then 2 hours have gone by and now you can't get any money back for what is essentially a scam. Steam has to step in on something like this.
I mean, the Game Club experience has really given me an interesting perspective on the fact that playing anything for 2 hours, I'm already to the point where it's like, okay, I can play this for more than 2 hours, or I never want to see this game again.
Very true.
And that, I think, is what the intent of the refund program is, so that if you fall under that, like, oh, this really isn't fun. More than, is it a scam? Is it broken? 6 hours in, it's, did I enjoy playing this? And if I don't, then I don't want to continue.
I guess
there
there should just be some sort of reporting policy for if, so many people report this as a scam, which this game sounds like it is.
Which Steam has taken actions in the past for games that either stopped development, especially more so with like early access things.
Yeah, like there was that, was it Earth Year 2066?
Yeah,
the one that the game fully did not work. There was no game.
Well,
it wasn't what it was marketed as.
Sort of worked. It was just a giant turd. I mean, it was ugly and it was very low poly, and the guy never seemed to put any work into it.
Those low
There we
poly
go.
turds.
Earth Year 2066.
They hurt coming out.
Nailed
That's
it.
the problem.
So Steam has done it before, but
They've stepped in when they needed to. I'm sure they will step in this case if it becomes an issue.
Which it sounds like it is.
but it sounds like it's become an issue. So I'll be interested to see what their response is very, very soon. When did this game actually come out? This Journey of
not
the
even
Light. I'm
sure.
going to look it up right now.
I'm
He
not even
said
sure
he
if
had
it's
an
early
update in
access.
July or something. That's what Ryan said.
Late July, supposedly he broke it.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, how did no one notice this time? And I think the part of the answer is probably not that many people playing the game in the first place.
It's
Probably
true.
not, but I mean, nobody. He hasn't beat his later levels.
Well, he's beaten the level 1
Not
by
even,
achievement.
Not even tested
By
them.
achievement, right?
Yeah,
Did
by
he clip
achievement.
through a wall and then now he's in level 2?
Probably. I mean, let's be honest. He probably did not.
I want
play through the
$1,000 bounty on this game.
game. Bring me the end of level 1.
Bring me the head of level 1. I think we should. We're pretty much at time.
Yep. Time for
Yeah,
wrap
we're at
up.
time. So this released in May.
May.
Is it released May 22nd, and still no one has got past the first level. So.
Well, it's been broken for a few weeks, so give him time. He'll roll it back, and then I'll be good. And you can turn off the lights, because that's the hint that he's given, is you turn off the lights. And if somebody turned off all the lights, but they can't turn off the last light, and now they don't know what to do.
Nailed it.
Apparently, there's a hint on the trading card, but you only get the trading card after the 2-hour refund period expires.
Such a scam. The
Look at
hint
that.
is it's a scam. Thanks for your money.
It is, haha,
Peace.
got your money. So,
Hello.
hi,
what is it?
Patrick.
Oh, he's trying not to be noticeable.
No, that's okay.
I didn't know if the wave was notice
up,
me or don't
Patrick?
notice me.
No, he's giving us a stretch out because our graphic reset.
too long.
We ran too long.
we ran too
overran
long.
the graphic.
Oh look! Oh no, the patch has started over. We have to go for another hour.
All right, welcome to the patch.
This week with Ryan,
Oh, did we, not do
didn't
that at
do
the
that.
beginning?
Ashley.
I was so
Yes.
excited about the cheesy bites. All right.
we totally forgot.
We're losing our food privileges directly after this is over.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We will be doing a patch panel at RTX, and
Yes.
that will go up next week as the regular scheduled patch. And we will be doing Game Club right after this, and we'll do a Game Club
Where we're
next
playing
week as
Hot
well.
Date.
Playing is a strong word. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye.